gentlemen, welcome to Downtime in the Ring. So, we're kind of actually going into the middle of a story right now. I forgot to hit the record button, but our guest, Evan Mack, is here. It has actually been a really good episode. I am glad I decided to look at the corner of my screen and see that we weren't recording, or you guys might have never heard any of this. If you want to continue with your best interaction ever.
Yeah, the best part, the good thing is like you did it there and now, because if we were like at like 45, 50 minutes, that'd have been devastating. That'd have been devastating. But but to continue the question, like anytime I have interaction with the Street Profits where I would kind of sit around and just like be able to mess around a little bit and kind of remember it's live TV. And at the end of the day, they can get mad at me, but I'm gonna just kind of chop it up with the fellas. So really great episode with the Street Profits before. One of my favorites is when John Morrison got signed back, and I kind of knew him from earlier years. So when he kind of came into the studio, he didn't know I was there, and it was like a cool moment. And they were kind of like, Evan, why'd you tell us you knew him? Like, what's going on? I said, I'm not like a talker like that, guys. I thought it would be a cool moment that we were surprised, and that was a cool interaction to see him back at WWE and then bring him on the show and us have like a moment with Jomo. So that was pretty cool for me too. So those are probably the two moments that stick out of my mind. But like I said, these superstars of this new era, they're just really well-mannered, nice individuals. They just are. It's a different era. It's a new fraternity full of men and women who love the business just as much as the guys and the girls did back in the day, but they are very nice. They're very nice about the business they handle, and they're true professionals. So it was awesome with everybody.
So do you believe that the concept of a show like The Bump could survive if it hadn't had the rules that you guys had been given?
Like I don't even know how the show's doing. I know it's on a Peacock. I know it's on YouTube. I look at metrics and things like that. I look at how the metrics look in the beginning, and I look how the metrics look now on YouTube. And put it like this: when that show we first talked about that show, and they brought me in, and they talked to me. Dude, I'm telling you, man. I said this could be the greatest show in the history of wrestling, because we have access to all the superstars.
Yeah,
it's our show. There's no third party. I go, okay, so let's do, and you telling me it's gonna be the anti WWE show, kind of like a DX type WWE show. Like DX works for WWE, but they're able to do a few things. That's how it was kind of pitched. I was like, yo, this is going to be really great if we're able to do funky stuff with these wrestlers, these superstars. And like I said, I was saying before we started again, I was like, it just quickly turned into a very, very scripted and formulaic show. And I do believe that has taken away from what it could be. Because let me tell you how I know I'm right. Wrestlers, they kayfabe all the time. They don't like to do that 24/7. They don't.
Yeah.
I'm telling you for a fact that they don't. So word of advice to anybody out there that's broadcasting or wants to be a wrestling guy or wants to go to these press things, let me tell you something. Don't overly beat them in the head with wrestling talk. They have a million other interests. They are human beings. Wrestling is what they do, is not who they are. Like, my word is advice to people. Man, I'm telling you, anytime they can shut their brain off for 5 minutes and talk about the Yankees, talk about the Yankees. I'm telling you, man, you'll have a better soundbite, better interaction, and they can just relax so they don't think they have to be always on in a storyline or in a protocol. And that's what The Bump was supposed to be. It's supposed to be that.
Oh, it wasn't supposed to be like dirt sheet radio or anything like that. Like,
but it was supposed to be a different way to approach superstars while talking about the product, but it just,
but not have it focus on the product in and of itself.
You know what I mean, though. But
yeah,
kind of but cleverly focus on the product. You know what I'm saying?
Like, yes,
like a magic trick. Like, we're talking about the product, but we're not talking about the product. You know what I'm saying? I just believe, in my personal opinion, when fans get wise that something is corporate structure, they kind of fall back a little bit. Like, that's, you know what I'm saying? If I can get if I can get something a little more gritty from a Cornette or something a little gritty from, you know what I mean, then I'll go there. Why would I sit down and watch the bump when I know they're gonna just recap the show? And I think we had the balance in the beginning, and then we just got away from it.
Let's see.
No, I understand what he's talking about. So I watched the last time I watched the current bump, and we've made it clear, like, we're not trashing on the product, but the last time that I watched it was the morning of WrestleMania night 1, WrestleMania 39 night 1, and they're doing the best champion of each title belt. And the one that threw me off the most is the way that it was being brought up that the Intercontinental title, even though it's synonymous with like Razor Ramon and Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart, that Gunther is overall the best champion ever. And I could feel that it wasn't genuine, that it wasn't real, because just like my brother, if I were to say, oh yeah, Shawn Michaels wasn't a good Intercontinental champion, he's going to argue with that. He's a Shawn Michaels guy. And I feel like that genuine of, you can't stop me no matter how much I care about this person. So I understand what you're coming from.
Yeah, that was what the show was supposed to be, that right there. Like, if that ever came up, there'd be a legitimate argument just like that. But the powers that be, and I'm not talking about the big dogs. I'm telling you, there's a finite group of people that run that show. I'm not talking about the top of the top. The people that ran that show, they've had this feeling that WWE wouldn't want them to do that. And I go, I don't think that's true. I don't believe that, man. WWE cares about numbers and ratings, man.
Yep,
if you're not trashing the product and you're arguing if freaking Shawn Michaels is better than Gunther, like, how the hell is that a bad thing? I don't give a damn if you're trying to. I don't give a damn how you're trying to prop up Gunther. With all due respect, if Gunther was on the show, I'd say it to his face. Like, are you crazy? What the, if I'm wrong, why are the number one shows in sports debate shows? Why? They are because people like us, even if we're at a bar, we don't agree with them, we're gonna have a talk. It's not like we're gonna fight.
Why do you think Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharp were that great show? You know,
that's a cool, to me, that's a cool thing. You see what I'm saying? It's a cool thing for us to be like, yo, hold on. Like right now, if we started arguing about, if I said something and you kind of were like, yeah, blah 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 blah, I'm like, oh, hold on, that's fun for us.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what the show was supposed to be. But that example is right there. You put it perfectly. That's an example where I was like, damn, it wasn't supposed to be like that. But I said, all in all, I told you, I look at things from a positive standpoint. When your contract doesn't get renewed, listen, you got to think about it like this, man. That company fired Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Yep.
So when people say, Evan, what's it like get fired by WWE? I was like, please, man, there's better people than me that got fired. I was there for a couple of years. It was a good run. They paid me well, and they let me go. I go, you know who they let go in that company? They have let go of the cream of the crop in that company. Who the hell am I? I was just getting started. Should those guys have let me go? Hell no, man, because I'm a legit fan. I'm a legit fan. Anybody that watched me on that show knows damn well I was a fan of the show. That's what I brought to the table. I'm not trying to beat you in the head with stats and shit that everyone else knows. My job was to be the fans' perspective, the fans' eyeballs. That's who I was. So, like, letting go of a person like that, I don't know if that's the best thing to do, because like that's, to me, was the show. The show was fans talking about wrestling, not analysts talking about wrestling.
Yes. Oh, and I see.
See, I love that, because that's what we're trying to bring here, is that we were supposed to live vicariously through you, through your experience on that show. That's what we're trying to do on here, so that people that, don't do that, aren't able to talk to you regularly can listen to this and can get real questions. No, we're not afraid to ask anything. Like, what are your stance on the World Series currently? Because I saw that you were getting really hyped for the Rangers. I saw you were getting really hyped.
Yeah,
for the Rangers.
I'm a pitcher guy, so, and I have no baseball team, so I love the art form of pitching. That's my favorite element of baseball. I think pitching dictates the entire course of a season. How you use your bullpen, how your aces are on the mound. Texas is looking pretty poised, but like I said, the Diamondbacks arrived way earlier than people thought they would, so they're going to be a problem for like 5 to 10 years. And it's just really cool to watch, man. It's just really been fun to watch. It could be over tonight, but but it's just been really, really cool to watch, man. I love this time of year.
So if you're a pitching guy, what do you feel about the new rule that came out?
No, you
That the
said the
game
clock?
that yeah, the clock.
Love it. Love it. Like hitters, it goes both ways though. Like the pitcher, put it like this: if a pitcher's dealing, the hitter's in trouble,
Yeah.
right? Because he has no time to adjust. If the pitcher is all over the place, then the hitter's in control and he can time them better. But it favors the pitcher. It does. So it makes it even more incredible that these hitters are doing what they're doing because the pitch clock that a pitch clock favors the pitcher that's in rhythm. It's
Yeah.
it's insane. It's insane. Dude.
Unless you have men like Garcia for the Rangers who are just no matter what.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Man, I don't know who. You could bring Randy Johnson, Nolan Ryan, Sandy Cole. I don't know who else you can pass that dude right now.
Yeah. No matter where he is in the lineup, no matter what, he is going to knock it out. And that's the crazy part about this postseason because I didn't think the Rangers were going to be as hot as they currently are.
Of course not. Him and like Seager, don't get me started on Seager. Good God Almighty, what has he not hit? Sheesh.
And see, I'm an Angels fan, so seeing the Rangers, currently just kill it, it breaks my heart so
disgusted.
much.
He's disgusted.
And I know because they're in the race to get Ohtani, and it just breaks my heart completely.
They land him, they're gonna have a problem because they're about to get a World Series before they even land him.
Yeah. It's not going to be good. But back onto wrestling. We got done with enough sports. So what got you into wrestling? What made you become a fan?
I guess, when you're growing up, man, and you're watching, everyone has their different moments and everyone has their different memories based on their age. Every wrestling fan is different based on their age, and that's how it should be. And like if some parents brainwash their kids and try to make them think the Attitude Era is the best era, but a kid's gonna like what a kid likes based on the era he grew up in. And the reason why I still like Turtles, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, is because I grew up watching Transformers, Power Rangers. It's literally been scientifically proven your nostalgia is connected to the things you love as a kid. So my earliest memories is just like everyone else's. It's the Ultimate Warrior from the 80s, Ultimate Warrior and things like that, Hogan and stuff like that. But my favorite wrestler when I was growing up is Mr. Perfect. So Mr. Perfect, Mr. Perfect and Ravishing Rick Rude, my two favorite wrestlers when I was growing up. And then you get a Macho Man in there, and then that's my earliest memories, just loving Macho Man's promos and loving Ravishing Rick Rude in the ring, doing the stuff we do with you know what I mean, with the gyration, the Val Venus before Val Venus, you know what I mean, and then Mr. Perfect to me and the vignettes, that to me is when vignettes were at their apex, when they realized how much they could do with these vignettes. Mr. Perfect took it to another level. And,
yeah, he did.
Oh my God. So those are my earliest memories of the wrestling fan. So that's what had to get me in. It had to be those three guys.
That's cool because now you're into marketing, social media, branding, and it could be a little bit because of Mr. Perfect. Could that be?
Listen, I give him all the props. All the glory goes to Mr. Perfect, man.
Just like it's connecting the dots a little bit, just a little bit there.
Oh God, I love him so much.
So what are you currently doing now? What are you trying to push for your brand currently?
Yeah, because finishing up this master's program, it's over in a month. It's been a lot, but it's something I wanted to do. And listen, man, we're in a different era where people say that piece of paper doesn't mean as much. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. Applying for different positions and jobs, getting rejected all the time. So maybe it doesn't, who knows, but that's what I'm working on right now. I finally decided to break down. And like I said, man, because I told you, I'm sitting around as a professional, just not happy, man. I'm like, why the hell am I not happy? And I think I realized that I've always been into film and TV. Film and TV are my true passion, legitimately. Whether it's in so many years, maybe I was just afraid to do it. And I said, damn. I said, am I about to try to go to school again? I was talking to my wife. I said, babe, I think I want to go to film school, man. And she looked at me and she was like, yeah, you should have been did that. You all you do is talk about movies and film. You should go to film school. And I was like, okay. So that's my next move. My next move is going to film school. And Yeah, I think I want to make a movie or something, man. But that's my true passion. So I've been spending years not doing my true passion. And like I said, the WWE short run was awesome. But that's not what I wanted to do. And people don't understand that. That's why I'm always comfortable giving people, referring people, telling everybody what they need to do, rooting for them to work wherever they want to work in the wrestling space, because there's a big misconception and there's a lot of gatekeeping out there with a lot of these people that think they own wrestling. And wrestling's for everybody. And
Mhm.
people always got this misconception because they see me on TV for just a tiny bit that I'm this guy that thinks he's this wrestling guy that gets all this criticism. I'm like, guys, y'all can have this shit. I like the product. I'm a fan, guys. Y'all can have this. Y'all can have my job tomorrow. Like I wish they could have replaced me with another black guy if they wanted to. Wrestling to me is something I like to watch. All the bump was to me was me doing what I do at the house. That's why it was such an easy thing to do. That wasn't work. That was what I do at the house. All I was on camera. So when I say like it was a fun thing, but it was never what I wanted to do. Like when I played basketball, I didn't even want to play basketball. I played football. I should have played football, but like I get coaxed into certain things based on other people's opinions, and I'm getting closer to 40, and I'm sitting back like, damn, when the hell am I gonna do something that I'm passionate about and just have the guts to do it? And the first time I've ever like pulled the trigger on applying for this film school, the first time I ever was like happy about something professionally, like for real, man, like between us two and everybody else who's gonna hear this. That's the first time I was like, man, I'm actually excited. Everything else has just been me going through the motions, and being pissed that I got let go. So trying to carve out another niche in the wrestling. I was like, oh, and I'm telling you, I woke up one day, I was like, wait a minute, that people can have this, man. I don't want. I'm a step aside from this space, and anybody that wants to be in this space, they can have this space, but don't. But stop trying to be in this space because your ego is bruised because you got unceremoniously let go from a place where you were trying to give your all to. And that's when things kind of change for me, bro. So what I'm working on right now is just trying to be happy professional. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel you because my passion too is in film because I have a media arts degree and associate arts degree, so I wanted to go into UNM in the film program there at New Mexico and stuff, but wasn't working out. There's a lot of people who, again, ego driven industry where it's like, oh, you gotta learn this specific way. You have to learn like, oh, you gotta do it this way. Like people who critique like all that, I understand all that, but I still love it. It's
Yeah.
film and TV where I've been there since I've been born. Like wrestling, another part, but I completely understand. I have the same passions as you do. Want to be on a
Love it.
film too and stuff.
Love
So,
it, dude. Love it.
yep.
I'm just the voice actor for his commercials. I can't say anything more towards that.
Yeah. Low key, he's my voice actor.
That's it. That's our tag team right there.
I love it.
Um,
I love it.
so in my space, I'm currently training to wrestle, but
Love it.
the reason why I am pushing this podcast so much is because the day could come where either my trainer says, hey, this just isn't for you, or God forbid, I get injured and I can't step in the ring anymore. I still want to be a part of this space. And so I appreciate it that you came on. You're a pretty big name still in wrestling, and I know that this helps us out a lot. But also, I want to ask, do you have any tips or any critiques that you could give us?
My whole thing is because your content, put your content out. But my only advice is that, like, listen, I know what the number one podcasts are, but my advice to, if you want to work, especially if you want to work for the E, if you want to work for the E, you the negativity and throwing the shade and talking all negatively about superstars, that's not gonna get it done. That will not get you where you need to go. Well, being honest, different story. That being having, but my advice to anybody that wants to take it to the next level, as far as working for the company, working for AEW, working for any of the major promotions, is literally give your honest opinions and your honest thoughts without trashing the product. Trashing the product is only reserved for people that are bitter about not being with the product. You know what I'm saying? Like, so if you have any aspirations on being with the product, I say approach it from a more constructive perspective as opposed to a slanderous perspective.
So when we edit this, I'm gonna make that louder for the people in the back that need to hear that, definitely, because there are a
Real.
lot of people that need to hear that.
Because it moves the needle. I know why they do it. I know why they do it. Like Cornette has the #1 wrestling podcast in the world. Cornette has the #1 wrestling podcast in the world because of how he talks and what he talks about. But what I can't emphasize enough to a lot of people, most of them ain't Cornette. Like I don't particularly like his style because it's not objective. Anyone that could come up on a podcast with a straight face and say Kenny Omega's not good, we gotta have a talk. That's personal. That's not constructive. And if if I ever meet him, I'd be like, bro, Kenny Omega's not good. Like, stop. But it was like, but I get why it moves the needle. But people that think they can take his approach, they're not Jim Cornette. Jim Cornette is one of the greatest wrestling minds who ever lived. Yeah. So he is in that rare space where he can be negative and have the #1 podcast. But I encourage most people to not do that. Don't do that.
Noted.
Especially if you love the product. How you gonna talk shit and you love the product?
Yes.
And like you said before, it's like you said before too, it's more so like wrestlers are never 24/7 their character. It's not all the time. And with this show, particularly after looking at our past episodes, we never really do focus on their wrestler side. We make it an attempt, like an effort to like see how they are as an individual and what they're into, and certain ask certain questions based off that. Of course, do research on them. But like, for instance, like Zilla Fatu, we want, like, of course that's a given, you know. Like what was it like living with his family of with Jimmy and Jay and even Roman at times, you know. It's like just like little tidbits of that kind of stuff. But yeah,
we will definitely take that. We will definitely learn with that, because there are still a lot of underground podcasts just like ourselves, and I think they need to listen to that. And I think fans in general.
I get it, man. I get it. I know why it does. It gets clicks, man. I'm telling you. I know the people that get their clicks. I know what they talk about. It's easier to. I know, man. It works. I get it. I get it, man. It gives you your clicks, your views, your downloads, your subscribers. But if you love the product, you bashing the product does not help the product. It don't. Because WWE versus AEW never makes sense. The WWE is 900 years old. AEW is 5 days old. Putting those two against each other, that don't make sense.
Yeah.
It's enjoy all wrestling. Even when I talk about the people that I'm like, it's not my cup of tea. Like it's always within it's not as, I'm not trying to be hypercritical. So like I say, if you love the product, why don't have a whole show dedicated to shitting on the product when you gonna watch the product the next day?
Yes. Yes.
If you didn't watch the product, you could do that. But here goes the crazy part about it: if you didn't watch the product, you wouldn't be able to do a podcast because you wouldn't watch the product. You see what I'm saying? So it kind of be hard. So I just say, I didn't say like don't be like a company mark, but just call it like you see it. Don't call it just to call it.
Yes. Because I love AEW. Every time I've gone, I've always had fun at their shows. It's a great experience.
Shows are great.
And I just don't understand the amount of hate that it gets. I know the booking wise, I understand, but just hating it.
They got to work on that. They got to work on that though.
Hating just to hate it, or saying that it shouldn't be around.
But what you just said is that's a legitimate thing. That booking is an issue. It is.
Yes.
There's wrestlers in AEW that say that's an issue, like publicly.
Yes.
Yep.
It's just like well, I don't like AEW because it's lackluster. I'm like, well, why? Because you're not saying it's the booking, you're not saying it's the title, you're just saying it in general. And I don't understand
tribalism.
Yeah,
on top of the tribalism.
Like when I was growing up, you know, it was Marvel versus DC, and I go, guys, these are both amazing comic books. Like, you know what I mean? This is like you can't tell me Superman's not a good character. Like he's been around since the 30s, man. Like, come on. So I used to argue like, I like this. I go, you like it, but you can like both, man. I
Yes.
grew up liking Marvel and DC. Of course, but Marvel's my favorite. But I'm not like, man, I hate DC. But people do that all the time. Star Wars, Star Trek. People do that all the time.
Yep.
Even I do that. Even though I say Star Trek's better than Star Wars, but it's like a joke. I watch them all, man. So that's the AEW thing. It's like, guys, you can't put them against you. And it sucks too when Tony Khan does it. He shouldn't do it. He fans the flames.
Yes. Yes, he does. That man needs to be banned from Twitter.
Oh my God. Dude, you're a billionaire. Stop tweeting.
I know it stresses me out because people make fun of him, and I'm like, no, obviously he's pretty smart at what he does business wise because of what he's been able to accomplish and the contracts he's been able to make with, Wembley Stadium and being able to go in Chicago 75 days out of the year, apparently. But
yo, no, they might as well, why don't y'all just build y'all arena in Chicago, in the middle of Chicago, right in the square?
But then he tweets something, and I just sit there and I slam my head against the desk, and I'm like, all my effort just disappeared. There's no help with this man.
I got nothing.
So as we begin to wind down, one golden question, since you want to be a director. You have a Marvel-sized budget, and I'm talking like Endgame size budget. What's the concept for your movie, and who's your top 3 as cast?
You know what? I'm gonna tell you something that I never ever told anybody, and I don't care. Well, I told my wife, but I don't care if anyone hears it because I want them to make the damn movie. Now, I can have a million ideas, but you asked me about that budget. Listen, Riddick versus the Predator.
Riddick versus the Predator?
Do you hear me? You see what I'm saying? See how the Predators, how they like a challenge. They travel from galaxy to galaxy and search for the perfect prey. Yes.
Yes.
They find out there is one last Furian out there. They know about him. He's a Furian. He sees in the dark. Yada yada yada. 2 or 3 Predators come to hunt Riddick. Vin Diesel reprising his role versus the Predators on an alien planet. It would be phenomenal. Riddick versus the Predator. I've been sitting on that for like 10 years, dude.
Damn.
Desert planet or jungle?
Pick your place. Jungle, it'd be a very serious problem for Riddick.
Yes, it would. Serious
problem. But the desert would actually even the odds a little bit because the Predator would be kind of, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So for Predator purposes, give me a more lush environment, a little more lush planet where it's a little bit more even, Steven and Riddick. And I'm not joking. Riddick's gonna have to be like 3 of them though. He can't just be one because I think he can be one. He's gonna have to be 3 Predators because they're gonna do the research. They're gonna do the intel. They're gonna be like, this Furian is a problem. We've seen his exploits. We've seen Pitch Black. We've seen Chronicles of Riddick. We've been doing our research.
Yep.
Riddick versus Predator, man.
Would you have just Vin Diesel, or would you have 2 other actors? Kind of,
you gotta have a supporting cast. I wouldn't mind making it a little more gritty and just having him burst down because him doing a little inner monologue and all that kind of stuff. But give me a cast. Listen. I think Batista was in one of them, in the newest one, the last one. But listen, give me a cast of characters. Damn it, give me some cameos from Fast and the Furious people. I don't give a damn. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, Riddick reigns supreme in that movie. That's
Riddick fighting a Dwayne Johnson-sized Predator.
Like, come on, man. I'm telling you, don't if I pitch this to Vin Diesel, I'm telling you, he'd be like, wait, what? I go crossover, bro. Riddick versus Predator.
It's the way that The Rock looked in Doom at the end when he started getting infected. That's what it would look like.
Yeah.
All right. We are so happy to have had you on, man. Really.
You guys are great, man.
I love the story before the recording that nobody will hear.
It was so good.
It was so good. It really was. It involved Bryan Cranston. Like, you guys will never know. But how can everybody get a hold of you? Where can everybody follow you? Your website, everything.
Oh man, listen. Anybody want to hit me up, man? I'm always here to talk. Evan T Mack at Evan T Mack on all the socials, man. That's it. Evan T Mack, hit your boy up, man. Let's talk some wrestling. Let's talk anything, man. Let's just talk, collab, connect, help each other out, support each other, man. That's what it's all about. I'm telling you, you get more bees with honey. I promise you.
And hopefully next time that we are able to interview, hopefully it could be live. Hopefully we'll be able to meet up with you, actually get to sit down, talk, and discuss this movie more. Because I'm already starting to think of ideas.
Let me know, bro. Seriously.
Will do. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, all you could do is like, comment, subscribe, and that will support us. Thank you.
Thank you.